Okay, so lesson 25 is all about taking fractions and changing them to percents, which you've had some exposure with so far. First objective is to take and build our ratios based on this, this diagram here. We're looking at cars and we're looking at trucks. What is our ratio of cars to total vehicles? These are just, they look like they're mobile homes or something. It's confusing, so don't count them as part of your thinking. Lil, what do we got? Okay, good. What is the ratio of trucks to all vehicles? Delaney. So that's really our first objective, is we want to create the ratios first. And then we're going to use TRF to take our given ratios and change them into percents. So the template's already been created for you, cars to all, which was 3 to 5. And remember, really, our objective is to try to find an equivalent ratio with a denominator of 100. Because that's what percent is. It's per 100. What's our multiplication factor in this case? Times what? Good. Whatever you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. And if you do 3 times 20, what do you get? Cal? Very good. That one's done. All right, now we'll do the one for trucks. Trucks to all is what ratio? Is? Good. Same thing. It's a multiplication factor of times 20. Gav, 2 times 20. All right, good. Let's take this to the next section here. It says, now that we have created equivalent ratios out of 100, how can we use these new ratios to create percents? Remember, percent means per 100. So how do you do it? Once you've created your equivalent ratios out of 100, how do we now take what we have as our new ratio and convert it to a percent? Lee? Yeah, it's as simple as that. Once you've created an equivalent ratio of a denominator of 100, our numerator automatically becomes our percent. So we're just going to write that down. When we have a denominator of 100, the numerator is the percent. So that's going to really be our goal. Our goal is going to be, can we take the fraction that they give us and create it as a number over 100, or an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100? That's going to be our ultimate goal. Not always easy with every fraction, as you'll see, because as we progress through this lesson, you're going to get fractions like 1/8. And there's no number that you can multiply 8 by that's going to give us 100, not a whole number at least. So there's be other strategies that we can use. But in any time that you have a denominator that's a factor of 100, whether it's, in this case, it's fifths, you can also do fourths. You can do fourths, you can do fifths, you can do tenths, you can do 20ths, you can do 25ths, you can do 50ths, because it goes into 100 evenly. Okay? There are some fractions, many fractions, that are not factors of 100. And then for that, I'll show you an alternative method. Common Core also wants us to show you using double line diagrams, which we're going to get to here on the next page. Don't let it confuse you. If you want to do TRF, and TRF works better than a double line diagram because it confuses you, that's fine. Anyway, what is our percent of all vehicles? What percent of all vehicles are cars? J. And what percent are trucks? Well, good. Let's move on. Page 2. Page 2 is going to show us that same problem using a double line diagram. I've got to show it to you both ways just in case you see it on a state test both ways, or either way. The fraction or ratio of cars to whole vehicles was 3/5, which we determined was equal to 60 over 100. The way that they model that is they have a double line diagram that they've broken up into 5 segments. So if it's total vehicles, these are representing 1 vehicle, 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, 4, and 5. So this is representing total vehicles. They don't put that label here, but I want you to add that. The top is representing our percent. I'm going to show you something here that I kind of disagree with. This number 1 is representing a total vehicle, but it's a total vehicle of how many, 1 out of how many? How many total vehicles were there? Connor. This is really 1 out of 5, which is the same as 20%. That's why I think it's a little confusing. 2 total vehicles out of 5, 2 vehicles out of 5 is 40%. 3 out of 5 is 60%. 4 out of 5 is 80. And 5 out of 5 is 100. I think it gets a little confusing unless you put that bottom denominator in there. Let's model it for the cars or for trucks. Same thing. This is going to be a percent. And this is going to be our total. It's not going to change. 0% is still 0 out of 5. 1 out of 5. 2 out of 5. 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5. And 5 out of 5. So that's kind of what we did. Is we took our whole and we broke it up into fifths. Now, if we break up 100% into fifths, 1/5 of 100 is 20%. 2/5 is 40%. 60%. And 80%. And since we have 2 out of 5 being trucks, we circle that. Just another way to model it. Okay? All right, the next 2 pages you guys are going to do on your own.